Welcome to episode 2 of A Stretch for the Mind, a series where we cover key sports psychology tools while going through some dynamic and static movement or stretches. Today's key tool is going to be controlling the controllables. So, we're going to talk about why we want to control the controllables and how we can do that. Before we get started, one tool that might assist you in today's stretch is a band like this. If you don't have one, it's not a big deal, but I'm going to use it for our first stretch. So we're going to start in a seated position. We're going to get legs right out in front of us. We're going to do a seated pike stretch. So we're going to stretch forward as much as we can, trying to compress your chest towards your legs. And this is why I'm going to use some assistance to help with that stretch on the back of my legs. I'm just going to breathe into it, take a nice deep breaths, and let ourselves sink a bit deeper with every breath if we can. Control is an important aspect of sport performance because there's always going to be things that we cannot control, things that distract us from our performance. And if we can consistently focus on things inside our control, we're going to feel more confident and more in control of our performance. And I believe that stretching can be a good opportunity to practice this control because there might be moments when we focus on things outside our control, like I wish I was more flexible or I wish I had that band that Ciana was using. But in accepting that, okay, I can't control that right now, I could just focus on what I can do. So maybe doing this stretch to the best of my ability, then that can make it a bit easier to experience this in a positive way. One thing that we can bring from our first episode, if you joined us, is we can control our breath. And that can be a simple tool to come back to help us be present and feel in control of our performance. So we'll draw attention to our breath right now. Going to relax out of that. You can let go of your band if you had that and leave it to the side. We're going to scooch down and lay down on our back. Next, we're going to do a number 4 stretch, so you can bend one knee towards you, get your ankle on top of your knee on the opposite side, and then pull your leg up like so. Taking nice deep breaths. Sometimes even doing these stretches, it can be frustrating. Maybe we feel like we're not doing it right or we're struggling to get into the position that we want. And that's something that we can experience a lot in our performances as well, is frustration. And if we can focus on what we can control, it can be easier to let go of frustration, to simply experience things for what they are, and to feel even more in control of our performance. If we like, we can straighten our leg here, get a stretch on the back of that outstretched leg as well. And we're going to switch sides. As we do this stretch, we can focus on our breath and imagine inhaling control and exhaling frustration. Inhaling control, exhaling frustration. When it comes to control, some things that are important is to know, like, what exactly is inside my control. Some things that we can always control are our attitude, how we approach, these stretches together, how we approach our performances. We can control our effort, So how much we put into this time will determine how much we get out of it, and we can control our preparation for our performances. Things we cannot control that maybe we might get distracted by is how our opponent performs, how they've prepared, the referee, the crowd, the court conditions. We want to realize this and be able to let them go. All right, we're going to let both legs come down to the ground. Stretch out your legs for a moment. Make yourself as long as you possibly can, reaching your fingertips up towards I was going to say up towards the ceiling, but back behind you. And then let them come down again. Next, we're going to do a supine twist. So you're going to take one knee up towards your chest and then let it come over as much as is comfortable for you. And now open up. We'll just hold this position, taking nice deep breaths. A simple question that we can ask ourselves if we do realize that we're focusing on those uncontrollables is, what's inside my control right now? And we want to come back to the most simple action or the most simple focus point. So for example, right now, what's inside my control is taking nice deep breaths and letting my body do this stretch to the best of my ability. And when we're in the court, the 2 moments that we can think the most is in between rallies. So we can ask ourselves, what's inside my control right now when I'm serving? And we want to focus on the most important thing. And that is where we're going to put the ball, how we're going to serve. So we might say, drive the ball low and hard, or lob serve down the left. And that's going to help us carry that out. Come back to the center, just so we can switch sides. So bring your other leg over, and then allow yourself to open up with your upper body again. And when we're returning serve, if we ask ourselves, what's inside my control right now? We want to focus on getting ready to return the serve. I'll often say to myself, move your feet, drive through the ball, move them back to the court. So we're not making any big promises. We're not saying, I need to win this point, I need to play better. We're simply focusing on the next action that we can control and that we can take. And that will allow us to execute it at a higher level. Come back to the center. We're going to roll onto our side as if we're going to sleep. Get both arms outstretched. And then you're going to bring one arm around, drawing a circle behind your head, keeping your hand on the ground if possible. And we're going to take 5 deep breaths here together. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Inhale, control. Exhale, distractions. Inhale, confidence. Exhale, doubt. In and out. One more focused breath in this position. Then we can allow ourselves to come back to the center. And we're going to roll on to the other side. Drawing that circle with the opposite hand and letting yourself open up. keeping your attention on your breath, which is the one thing inside your control right now. Next, we're going to come up to a forward position for our final movement of the day. We're going to bring 2 feet together. Let our knees fall at either side if that feels good for us. And then we can get elbows on those knees and gently push them towards the ground to get a nice stretch inside our legs. The main thing we want to take from today's practice is that when we focus on what we can control, we can perform with confidence. We can feel confident. When we focus on things that are outside our control, we're going to feel less confident. We're going to have more self-doubt. Because if I'm focusing on my opponent, how they're going to do, what the draw is going to be like, or how I think the draw has been done wrong, then that's going to frustrate me and make it harder to perform because I can't actually do anything about that. And sometimes we will focus on the uncontrollables. That's completely natural. But it's about noticing that and being able to bring it back to something inside our control. And the quicker we can do that, the more often we can do that, the easier it'll be to perform with confidence. We'll come back to our controllable in this moment, our breath. And we'll relax. So a question I encourage you to take with you from today or into your day, into your next training session is, what's inside my control right now? And begin to notice the uncontrollables that we spend time focusing on. And that can help us to focus on the controllables more consistently. And I hope to see you in episode 3 of A Stretch for the Mind.